everyone, to a brand new Getting Color right here on the Big Vito brand. And I am Virtue, being joined by the man himself, Big Vito LaGrasso. What's up?
How's it going, peeps? Everything's good. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. All right. I know you got an action-packed show for me. How are we starting it off today?
Well, let's start off with some AEW, like you like to talk about sometimes. I don't know. I mean, Jeff Jarrett now in AEW. So
I
what's your
called it
thoughts?
when he got let go, and I called it when he did the Flair match, didn't I?
He did a spot with Darby Allin, so he might work some matches here and there. And I think he's going to be in charge of their house shows, live events, something like kind of what he did in WWE. So what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts about some botches recently? I know you follow that account
Let's
on
start
Twitter.
off with Jeff. Let's start off with Jeff Jarrett going back to AEW or getting into AEW. I think it's a good thing. He's got a lot of experience. He knows the business. He grew up in the business. I saw people shitting on something that was Jeff Jarrett against Sting. Okay. But that's the match people want to see. They're not interested in the AEW stars. They're interested in the guys they used to watch and the guys who have credibility and made you want to watch wrestling. Who doesn't want to watch a Sting versus Jeff Jarrett match? Two guys who could work, two guys who could go in there and have a good match, and guys who could work a program.
Well, are they questioning like 15 years ago? Okay. Versus the age that they are now. Is that what the people are complaining about?
I guess that's what the people are complaining about, but that's what the people watch now. When you watch wrestling, right? If you're not invested in AEW's today's product and the WWE's today's product, what do you watch? You watch stuff you watch everybody crushes Russo for all his bullshit. But what do you watch? You watch Vince Russo, the Mamalukes, and all that other stuff from WCW, right? When you watch the WWE, you watch 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's when wrestling was wrestling. That's when the good stuff was there. So
that's a good point.
People are complaining about what they're doing, but how could you complain if this is what's going on?
Well, we got to give kudos to Jarrett for finding ways to continue to still make changes in the game at this point of his career. He's worked for everybody, and well done. Kudos to him for that.
Now, the thing is, AEW is not drawing on their house shows right now. Their attendance is way down. I mean, they have blocked off their seats. They've gone to a smaller arena. I mean, they're talking about doing house shows. If the main shows, the TVs are not drawing, what could they possibly draw on the road? Remember when TNA did house shows and they had Kurt Angle as the main event and they would draw 500 people in Pennsylvania? And that's with Kurt Angle as your main event. They couldn't even crack 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And then when you go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So what do you think Jarrett brings to the table if he's going to be in charge of live events and stuff like that to try to get people in there?
He might be able to bring up the TV's attendance, but AEW hasn't done house shows and AEW hasn't gone on any tours. So if they go on a tour, where are they going and who's going to watch it and where are they going to? I think I'll give you an example. If they did an England tour, would they sell out? I don't think so.
No.
I think NXT, if you added Kevin Owens and AJ Styles and a couple of guys who went through the system, went back there, I think they would sell it out. And what people forget with NXT is when Kevin Owens was the main guy down there, they sold out the Brooklyn Nets Center. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's some things to consider there.
Do you think that Sting and Jarrett match will happen?
Yeah, I think so, and I think the fans will enjoy it. I mean, that's just part of it. Jeff Jarrett being back there, if he does business and he could do something, I think it's good. If he's not going to shit the bed on his promos, he's not going to shit the bed as far as relevance. I think he can. He looks like he's in good shape. Looks like his mind is good. It's like everything is a go. And Jeff Jarrett had a couple of new guys with him to try and elevate those guys, just like Jericho did for the other guys, and Sting is doing for Darby Allin.
Well,
So
I
if
mean,
they
they're
can do,
trying to incorporate veterans there to like get over the whole drama that they've had backstage this year. So maybe that's some old school. Like I could be on board with that.
I think that if they, I mean, but what we spoke about before, and this is the truth. If AEW was to take all the former WWE guys, I'm not talking NXT, I'm talking main roster guys, and they were to put a show on with just WWE main roster guys, they would have a hell of a quality show.
With the guys that they have, you mean that were
Yeah.
formerly in WWE?
Miro sits at home. Why? Why?
Yeah, yeah.
Christian Cage is not on TV. Why? Sting doesn't wrestle. He wrestles with Darby Allin, which I think is a waste. People want to see Sting. Billy Gunn is on the roster. Mark Henry's on the roster. Big Show's on the roster. Bryan Danielson's on the roster. Moxley's on the roster. Cesaro's on the roster. Uh, uh, Jake Hager is on the roster. Chris Jericho is on the roster.
Yes, they are. But
Right?
we see Orange Cassidy.
But you see, and if I name 10 to 16 guys, that's 8 matches. 8 matches, and you mix in some promos, that's a show.
Yeah,
And you
that's
definitely
true.
got some angles in there.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. So we're gonna have to see if it helps. I mean, he's there, right? So we'll kind of. I mean, good for him. He was just working with WWE, got let go, and now he's with AEW. I know you mentioned this in text, Vito, and I'm not, one to talk about the botches unless you really want to. Cole Cabana came back on Dynamite, right? Of course, is that the hey, Punk, you're gone. Cole Cabana's back. Who cares the politics of that? But the fact is, he went against Jericho, and there was a spot that didn't look right in that match. I'll let you call it because you're the wrestler.
Guys, when you're sitting home for a few months and you come back to TV and you're not in shape, not to say he was ever in shape, and I'm not body shaming him, but you're sitting home at TV, what are you doing? Go to the gym, work out, get yourself in shape. When you reappear on TV, give the people something to talk about. You came in overweight. You came in not in wrestling shape. I don't believe you were wrestling. You went to do a spot on there, right? That you had no business doing. And Jericho had to put himself on your shoulders, and then you fall with him, which was embarrassing. Not only for yourself, but Chris Jericho, the guy who bumped into him, and everybody's laying there like a bunch of idiots. Everybody makes mistakes, but there are some things you do and you don't do. If you're not wrestling 4 or 5 days a week, this is the problem AEW has. Everybody thinks they're a superstar and they wrestle 1 day a week. Yeah, I'm a pro wrestler. That's not the way the business was. You go and you're wrestling 4 or 5 days a week. You're in ring shape. You're wrestling shape. Your craft is perfected. You're in your moves, your timing, everything is good. Not wrestling once every couple of months, come back, yeah, I'm here. Can't do it. You can't do it. And it shows.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was an attempted high spot. And, Vito, we didn't always have to do that, right? You guys didn't always have to work. I mean, high spots back then, listening to wrestlers talk like you, Al Snow, etc. High spots could just be at some point in the match, a sunset flip, right? If the timing was right. You get the crowd into it when the pace picked up. It didn't have to be something ridiculous.
But what everybody forgets is that the house shows were there. So when you wrestled your opponent on TV, the matches flowed good.
Because you went over and over. You wrestled each other.
You wrestled each other. You got to know each other. You go, okay, I feel this. Yeah. That's chemistry, good chemistry. Yep. Timing. Knowing what a guy can do, knowing what a guy can't do, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, that was our AEW talk. Oh, yes. What would you like to add?
I just, it's just a shame that Colt Cabana being the main event of your TV, and you have so many quality talents sitting there begging to be on TV. Why isn't Miro on TV? I want to know. I got to ask you. I have to ask you.
I cannot answer that. I mean, like he should be. But remember, like he was in WWE and a couple times he was pushed pretty good or was popular with the fans, and then it just went south. So could Miro be his own worst enemy? Is there something
Could
we
be.
don't know?
I mean, it's hard to believe that this guy would piss in somebody's Cheerios. I mean, he seems
Yeah.
like a nice guy. I don't know him. You don't know him. But Big Vito versus Miro, I would love to wrestle that guy. But then you got Cesaro there, right? He's another quality wrestler. They got him in Ring of Honor, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Christian Cage. You got Danielson. You got Moxley. You got... There's so many guys you could put together in there, right? Billy Gunn, I think, probably has the best body in there. And he can talk. It's probably one of the best workers in there. Dustin Rhodes is sitting there, not on the main page. And Dustin Rhodes can work circles around 3/4 of the talent.
It's true.
So why isn't he there? Why isn't he on TV? Who's in charge of the booking?
If we could dissect the mind of Tony Khan and all the people in his ear from the elite people, I don't know, Vito. That might have something to do with it.
I saw an interesting thing on Twitter, and Jim Cornette made this comment. If Tony Khan could sign John Cena to a contract, he would put him in a dark match just to make room for him.
He might very well do that. Oh, that would be.
Think about it, right? They have so many guys. Now, you have Dave Batista. He's not interested in wrestling. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing a name out there of a guy who's available, right? If Dave Batista said, you know what? The hell with the WWE. I'm tired of those mofos, and I want to get back into wrestling. How much money do you think they would pay Dave Batista to come in and wrestle? What is he worth? What is Dave Batista's worth on the main roster of AEW? What is he worth?
I mean, look at the Lesnar contract. I mean, give the guy $1 million a year. He's in Hollywood. He's in big movies, right? They're bringing Tyson in for appearances.
But you're talking Dave Batista, world champion, movie star. What is he worth to AEW? Is he worth $5 million a year?
Well, yeah, that I'm not sure. I just said $1 million at least, but I mean, limited dates, he would obviously do, but yeah, why not? Why not get somebody like that? Cena or Brock would have been the two. Those were the two that I think that would have been game changers.
Now, Brock Lesnar in AEW, he makes $12 million a year at the WWE. What do you think they would pay him? They wouldn't pay Kurt Angle $3 million.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pay Kurt Angle $3 million either.
I think Tony Khan spreads his money instead of getting the one big blockbuster superstar. He's paying all these wrestlers so he can have all these toys, and that's why he doesn't go for the big. I mean, who knows what he paid CM Punk, but egos. I'm telling you, could it be a problem bringing anybody like that in because of egos? Now, look at the whole CM Punk thing.
Now you talk about CM Punk coming back to wrestling, right? It has been a total fiasco. This thing turned out to be a fiasco.
Yeah.
And nobody was in the dressing room. Nobody's backstage. We are not there. We don't know. We all go by hearsay what people say. But when you tell them at the end of this thing, Jesus Christ,
Well, maybe they can get good heel run out of the elite, bringing them back and having them play it up. But I don't know, Vito. I think we've talked about AEW enough. Are we going to move on to some WWE?
We're moving on right now.
Because we didn't do a show last week. So let's talk about what's your thoughts on Emma returning. It looks like WWE is doing that same thing Tony Khan does. Triple H is bringing a lot of people back. Now, remember when she was, it's been like 5 years already, but she had that run where she went back to NXT, kind of changed it up a little bit and had some good matches with Asuka. I think she's a good person to have on the roster. They had her come back and lose right away to Ronda. What do you think about Emma? I've always kind of liked her. I think she's pretty good. What do you think?
I thought when she beat Asuka on Sunday and then destroyed her on Monday, she got fired on Tuesday. Then we know why she got fired, because she didn't make Asuka shine like this monster, and she out wrestled her, and that's why she got fired. And when you remember my thing, I was shocked when she got fired.
Yeah, yeah. And that was still the Vince McMahon era. Now
Right.
it's the Triple H era. Might be. Well, he brought her back, obviously.
I think it's a good move. I mean, to make her lose on the first night against Ronda, okay, you got your job back. You do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Natty dislocated her nose at Crown Jewel from Baszler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Broke, dislocated, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there you go again, Vito. A lot of injuries happening. We're going to talk about some more injuries too. It just seems like it happened. I mean, I know you guys got banged up back in the day, but you guys
Nothing
had
like
injuries.
this.
You could work through it because you worked safer. So when you did get hurt, it was just basic things. Man, Vito, we talked about these injuries before. Like it's getting nauseating to me, like to think about people being out or getting their face busted. It just happens way too much.
I don't know. I just think, like, guys got to be more careful. I mean, you see more ouches in AEW than in the WWE, but that's no excuse. I think guys just need to take a little bit more care of each other.
Well, before we talk about our main topic, Vito, I don't know if you caught Crown Jewel, but I'm sure you've seen social media. You see
Yeah.
clips. It's all readily available. Thoughts on the Logan Paul match versus Roman Reigns? So Roman went over, still the champ. I still believe it's going to be him and Rock at WrestleMania. Then after that, I'm sure they'll think about dropping the titles off of Reigns. But this is like 3 matches in for Logan Paul. They did show stuff where it looks like at least he's been working with HBK, teaching him some things. He's put together some decent matches for being, a rookie. His brother Jake, the boxer, the celebrity boxer, showed up. So they got him in on the action as well. And Vito, when this was all said and done, not sure if this is true or not, but Logan Paul went right to social media and says he tore this, that, has all these injuries. They could be a legit shoot. It could be because he's part-timer and it's buying him the time off with a reason for him not to be on TV. What's your whole thoughts of Logan and Roman? I thought it was a heck of a match.
No, it was a heck of a match, and the guy does good for being a short time in the business, right?
Yep.
But let's not like get overzealous here. Just because Shawn Michael teaches you a few things doesn't make you a worker, right?
No,
Yeah,
but
it's practice.
yeah, but he's done, considering he hasn't really paid his dues. He's doing a pretty good job because most people
No,
would
he is.
choke.
I give him all the
They
credit
would
in the
choke under
world.
this situation, botch, mess up. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did go too hard and work too much, and did get hurt. Right? That's not how wrestling's supposed to
So
be.
at what point of the match did he get hurt? I know it wasn't
He said
towards.
He said halfway through. So I don't know if it's him playing himself up, covering the fact that he lost, and this is just a work through social media, or if this is legit. But he said halfway through. We'll see. I don't know.
I had to be after the dive.
Dude, and if you tore all those things in your knee, how in the hell was he walking? I didn't even see him limping. So I'm questioning this, Vito. Is somebody in his ear like Paul Heyman? Hey, work the audience. Tell him you were out hurt. You're not coming back till WrestleMania next year. Give him a reason to wonder why you're gone. I don't know.
I thought he was full time.
I think the contract, when they signed him, I think it was for limited dates because he does all that other stuff. And I don't think he committed to being full-time either. I think he's a special attraction, which is crazy because Lesnar paid his dues to get that. You're bringing in Jake Paul because he has all these social media followers. It is a weird business today, Vito. I mean, they look what they did with Bad Bunny. They did the same thing kind of with him. And he'll probably be back and do another WrestleMania match.
Well, they said that he had surgery, he needs surgery. So, and if his knee is packed, I mean, when you're out there, I mean, your knee is going, you're going. Sometimes you don't feel it until after the fact.
Yeah.
And then you go to take off your knee pads and your wraps, and you're like, oh my shit, my knee is busted up.
That's
so
true.
It's like, okay, can happen. But they had a good, solid match.
You want any thoughts on how they're really milking this Bray Wyatt stuff? He showed up at Crown Jewel and he did the same promo, and the alter ego of himself is talking back to him on the screen. I'm cool with the spooky stuff in wrestling, but how much can you milk this before some fans turn on it?
Well, Triple H ponders to the IWC, which I agree with.
Yes, he
And
does.
when you look at what they're doing with Bray Wyatt, they're going to milk this as long as possible because they want the fans to enjoy this and they think they're giving them a thrill. Sooner or later, and I think it's going to be sooner, he's going to start adding members to the family and bringing in the Wyatts. So, who are they bringing in? What do they have in store? Will his brother, Bo Dallas, be part of the clique?
And we're going to continue to talk about this when we finally see him get in some wrestling action. But for now, it's the typical Bray Wyatt stuff. Maybe he's getting back into conditioning as well because he was off for over a year. Anything on your mind, Vito, before we touch on the main topic?
So I read something or I saw something about Braun Strowman shitting on indie workers and flippy workers, right?
Yeah, like he's been known for saying that kind of stuff on social media. And fans, like it's weird. It's almost like he's bragging, hey, I'm in WWE. Everybody else in the business that hasn't made it to this level is beneath me. And I don't know if he's arguing with them or the fans. It's strange. And he gets heat for it. What do you think?
Sometimes it's better just to do your job, stay off social media, don't insult nobody. You're making a salary. You're better than everybody else. You're making money. Sometimes it's better just to shush.
And we'll see how this leads. I mean, he got let go before, and he's come back during the Triple H era. So we'll see. And Vito,
Did he win his match he did win.
He beat Omos, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Noel wanted us to touch on Nick Aldis is leaving NWA, and he's been there since they kind of brought the NWA back. And is he going to one of the big two? What's up with that? Or Ring of Honor? Not Ring of Honor.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He said he gave his notice, but then NWA said he's suspended, or was they suspended him once he said he was giving his notice? He didn't shit on the company. He's a very polite guy. He has a lot of etiquette in doing his business. What do you think and what do you do? Now, I believe Mickie James is not there no more, and she was the head of creative, and I don't think she's there anymore.
Yeah.
So if he gave his notice and he's going back to Impact, he's going to be with his wife. Nick Aldis is not a young guy. He's in his 40s. And, she didn't have that oomph to get him into WWE. He didn't have that oomph to get him, at the AEW level. Okay. He did well for the NWA for where he was. He's a nice guy. I just see him going back to Impact and being with his wife. And
yeah, that's right. She's there. She's their champion, right. I think, isn't she?
Yeah, and
yeah.
Them doing their thing. I mean, him in Ring of Honor. When I think of Nick Aldis, I don't think of him in Ring of Honor. I just think he'd be.
We think of Impact, Magnus, or whatever he was called.
Yeah, I think Impact.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing from him, and that's what I see for his future. But you never know in this crazy business. Imagine you see him at NXT. Does he fit in at the WWE level? Does he fit in with anybody up there? I just don't see it.
Remains to be seen. So we will see how that progresses as well. Vito, the main topic, we talked about this on the No DQ review last week, but months ago, I was like, remember they brought in Sami Zayn to be like a goofy thing with the Bloodline because Roman's part-time contract kicked in. He wasn't going to be around that much. So they were probably just looking for segment fillers, match fillers for Usos and the Bloodline and all that stuff. And it's morphed into what we have right now to where they're out there having a good time. I mean, some people are saying Sammy's making them break character. Well, it's almost like NWO always giggled and had fun times in the ring. DX did. Nothing wrong to me with the Bloodline doing the same thing and kind of Sami Zayn being the prankster, the guy that doesn't belong but that's in there. I said a couple months ago, like, he doesn't belong in here, Vito, and it pulls the bloodline down because this is supposed to be a family group, like a mob, a mafia. And I get it. You always have your court jester. We've watched the mafia and the mob movies, and there's always somebody, in there that you wonder why, and then they get killed off or kicked out. I don't know, Vito. Like, I don't know. Is he going to be big babyface out of this? Like, does he bring the bloodline down? Is this good for them? What is your take? I don't want to hear fans' take. Like, that's all I heard on the review. I want to hear your take on this.
I think him going into the bloodline added a character to it. I think it's gone over pretty well. At some point, there's going to be a break.
Mm-hmm.
But when the break comes, do you see him winning a title? No. Do you see him getting the better of the Usos? Yes. Do you see him go doing a one-off with Roman? Yes.
Yeah, where he loses to Roman. So it's
Right.
like filler for Roman. I definitely could see that.
So I think he gets the best of the Usos. He gets beat down. Match against Roman for the heavyweight title. Great match. Who would be in alliance with Sami Zayn?
Kevin Owens. Remember, there was a rumor I heard that they had plans for Owens, and then it's on hold now. And I'm just wondering if the Sami Zayn stuff was going to end a little bit earlier, and they were going to have him and his best bud KO team up to go against the Usos. And if they ended up changing their mind because the bloodline thing, people were talking about it. So it could be Owens, Sami Zayn. If and when the split does happen with Sami and the bloodline, there you go. He's got his guy to go back against the Usos. I don't know. What do you think?
I think I could see the Usos cutting his hair, making him shave his head down.
Back to the short hair Sami like we used to have?
And go and get rid of the beard. And I could see them doing something like that with Kevin Owens making the save. And then you have championship match. And then who knows, maybe Sami and Owens slip over the Usos.
And that's how the dissension of the bloodline starts. And I don't know, Vito, but it's people talk about it every week. Like, I've seen people say, wow, this is the most entertaining thing in wrestling today. And again, there it is. It's not even wrestling matches. It's storyline of characters. And
right.
I don't know. Maybe that's a bright silver lining in the clouds, Vito.
I get you.
We did it.
Now, I have something here.
Okay.
For all you people out there.
Overtime.
Get with my friend, RVD, and get the RVD CBD cream. It works. It's healthy. Use the Big Vito code. It's on Twitter. Go ahead. Get yourself 20% off. Tell him Big Vito sent you. Rob is my buddy. He takes care of us. Subscribe to us here at the TikTok. Subscribe to us at the Big Vito brand. Subscribe on Instagram. Subscribe and, press the like button on YouTube. Guys, it's always great to be with you guys. Virtue, go ahead and close the show like the maestro you are.
Hey, another great show with Vito's perspective, and we can have a time period of boring topics, and it's always interesting when Vito gets to shoot on them. So with that said, this has been Getting Color right here on the Big Vito brand for Big Vito LaGrasso, the former WCW Hardcore Champion, by pinning Terry Funk. I am Virtue. We will see you again next time.
Peace.
Catch the Big Vito brand on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.